Right, as you can see in the background, there is one last team, one last unit standing, smiling, celebrating. Australia have won the Border Gavaskar Trophy after 10 years, and in the process, they have won all bilateral series. And they already won the World Test Championship and have also qualified for the next World Test Championship final, where they will play South Africa in England. How did they do so? With a 6-wicket win against India in Sydney and it is a 2.5 day finish. And in this episode of Diaries from Down Under, we will break down everything that happened on this day and summarize the entire series as well. First, let's start with what happened on day 3. India bundled up very soon. Jasprit Bumrah did come on the bat, giving hopes that whether he might be able to go. He was out of the field with back spasm on day 2, but he in the end he did not come out to bowl, and that is a blow India did not recover from. They did take wickets. They didn't. So Mohammed Siraj, they did take wickets. They did keep running in, but without Bumrah on this pace with the target of 162, it was never going to be against Australia. The fitting that Travis Head was being the best batter of the series, was been the nemesis for India for more than a year and a half now. Was out there in the middle with debutant Bowler to help India help Australia get home with a nice good 6-wicket win. In many ways, the result also 3-1 result also summarizes how the series has panned out since Perth. How Australia have always been ahead of India right from the day they landed in Adelaide, right from the pink ball test and then to Brisbane, where it was a rain of a gift. You never know if the rain was not there. Australia might just have won it, take the score like so one. And then, of course, that India's collapse in Melbourne. Here it was a 2.5 day finish. The scoreline summarizes perfectly and fittingly who was the better team all around for extended and consistent periods of time. That is exactly what Pat Cummins said as well. He said it is not about what they changed, it is about what they didn't change after Perth. They stuck together. They did their best 11. They gave themselves every opportunity to take 20 wickets and, of course, had the batting to back it up as well. It is something India did not have. India relied extremely on Jasprit Bumrah, who had 36 wickets, fell short of the highest wicket bilateral series record. Ridiculous average of 13. He was the player of the series, but he would have loved to bowl on this particular pitch here on Sunday and help India get a budget. Remember, if he had played, things would have could look very, very different with India sharing and retaining the 40 minutes healthy. But hypotheticals and hindsight looks good. But let's dive into what actually went wrong. But India did everything right. And on a pitch like that, the bowling unit came together and the second innings batting unit came together. But since then, India perhaps went a little bit defensive. They played more all-rounders. They wanted the batting depth to compensate for the lack of form from the top order batters. But in the end, it probably ended up fighting them in terms of not being able to regularly take those 20 wickets. Yes, Akashdeep bowled really well. He was very unlucky, but he did not play the same ball test. Harshit Rana continued from Perth, but it seemed like he was cooked by the time he started bowling early. But then, of course, your presentation update, we were to the start and so was Siraj, but they came back. They did what they could, but it was never going to be enough. The biggest star of the series, of course, is Vijayalayan and Nitish Kumar Reddy for India. Nitish, for all the good series that he has had, he's been great with the bat. Every time he walked out, he looked at you out. And they shipped in with wicket in the first innings as well. But playing Nitish and a spinner, every time India played, man, India were going in with a flat lane bowler shot. Maybe in the past, whenever India had fielded 5 bowlers, it's always the result has always been favor on their side. They took the extra risk to ensure they are able to take 20 wickets and, of course, give Bumrah the breather that he deserves. So that was not the case. India always went for the extra batting depth, considering the lack of runs from the top order, whether it's Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, or anybody else who's coming in. Even Rishabh Pant had an on-and-off series until here in Sydney, but it in the end cost India fair bit. Like on a pitch like Sydney, where either line was resting to all, they did not ball. After India played two spinners, Washington Sundar, Ravi Jadeja. Same was the case. India played Brisbane, India played in Angwan as well. So it makes me question their choices of playing 11. So why they went ahead with the kind of combination they played, but in the end, it didn't matter. It's all about scoring runs, it's all about taking wickets, and India did not do that. More importantly, the Nuts that did not look like they had planned for the better part of the series. So especially after Rohit Sharma came in, yes, he was coming up a home series loss against New Zealand, and of course, a poor form with the bat. It all kind of culminated. India lost the pink ball test, survived Brisbane, but of course, R. Ashwin had the over. He retired midway, and this is West back going. They came to Melbourne with all the lot of disturbance and costs of the field in terms of what's happening within the dressing room, what happens. The seniors were out of whether it's Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, push himself back up the order. In desperate search for runs, even when that didn't work, he dropped himself out. He did not take the field in Sydney, but he's made it clear that he's not retired. On Sunday, without moving on the field, because Virat Kohli was late to the field, and you can clearly see that he liked it as well as he liked it 3 years ago, and with Shubman Gill in the years ago as well. But Justin Bumrah is India's vice captain. Rohit Sharma is still India's captain. Good for how long? That's a question. And the same is the question for Gautam Gambhir, who's had a very, very tough tenure since taking over as head coach. Lost in Sri Lanka, home loss against New Zealand, and here 3-1. In a country where India haven't lost in 10 years, yes, it is an adjustment to take, but more than it, the scoreline, the way India lost up, not the way India kept giving away the advantages that could put a lot of questions. So, if Gambhir and if not Gambhir, the support subnets around how the likes of Chicken Iyer, even vocalists, Graham Tengashen, they are able to help the transitioning team and how it's been reflecting in the results. Gambhir admitted that it's been tough, it's been frustrating, but he said that they're going to keep fighting. That's all they can do at this point in time. They have to go back, they have to reflect, and it's going to be a review meeting, of course, before the squad is announced for the England bilateral white ball tour, which will be the precursor to the Championship in February. A lot to happening in the next 5 matches. You cannot predict how this test team looks when they leave for England for the 5 tests in June. It might look very, very different, or it may look the same. It all depends on what happens in the next few months. So what happens in terms of the results in Champions Trophy, the results and how the seniors perform as well. It's gonna, there are a lot of tough calls to make. There are a lot of hard questions to be asked, and they all know that they've been unlucky. They've been seen well. They say that they've been prepared. They have their plans, but in the end, the result shows that they have not been able to execute it. It's 3-1 India coming into Australia. If you're a fan who's been through the 90s and those that it might be common, but if you're a fan, started watching Test cricket in the last 10 years, this might feel a little bit weird and different, and probably hurt a little more because India winning here has been the norm in the last 8 years, but Australia were a far superior team. They had their best bowler, Scott Boland. Every time he played in Australia won. He averaged another 50 plus 13. 21 wickets in 3 matches. And then, of course, another that had come in 77 from the captain who contributed with the bat, was 40s, the lower order partnerships in Melbourne, and of course, 21, another 25 wickets to the board as well, average in 21. Cummins is a captain who has won it all. He's won the ODI World Cup, silencing a billion people in India. He's won the T20 World Cup as a player, he's won the ODI World Cup as a player, he's won the World Test Championship as a captain as well. He's retained the Ashes, he's won it here. Like, he's a captain who also all the progress at off. And now he's going to go back to being a full-time dad. Job he believes he's going to be better at. His family was there in the press conference, so I'm very happy. a stark contrast to the mood that was there, which Gautam Gambhir was addressing. But of course, that's how it works. That's how the research also affects the people as well. Uh, but for all the discussions we get made, for all the analysis we get, in Australia we're far better lead our Pat Cummins Australia. So won the Border Gavaskar Trophy, being the first team to do so since 2014. First captain to beat India, first Australian captain to beat India in a Test series in a 4-1 away cricket. On that note, we'll conclude here what could potentially be our last episode of Diaries from Down Under, especially if it comes to the Border Gavaskar Trophy. There might be other side stories which will be coming through in the next week as well. So do stay tuned to the ANI website, socials, and of course, my the newspaper that is ours to keep the regular updates and keep track of everything that's happening. There's a lot going to coming as well. There's the review meeting where there's a Champions Trophy. A lot is going to unfold over the next few months. Do stay tuned. But for now, from the season, Australia 3, we have watched what I want to say to Australia. Thank you so much. I didn't say this or that. Yes.